This is not science fiction. This creature is alive right now, at a depth of a few meters off the nearest coastline. Scientists describe the octopus as the most likely candidate for alternative intelligence on Earth, a creature that arrived at the concept of a mind through a completely different path. Not through a spine. Not through a brain housed in a skull. Not through living in groups and communicating with others. Instead, alone, in silence, 500 million years before we appeared. I'll be honest, when I started looking into this subject, I couldn't stop for several days. Each new fact overturned the one before it. I found myself checking multiple sources because what I was reading sounded too unlikely to be true. And yet, every time, it was. Today we're talking about octopuses. Stay until the end, somewhere in the middle, there's something waiting for you that will permanently change how you look at this animal. Let's begin with the most basic question, whose answer almost no one actually knows. What is an octopus, really? An octopus is a mollusk. A relative of a snail. It belongs to the same broad group as oysters and clams, soft-bodied animals that, for hundreds of millions of years, found safety inside rigid shells. And then, at some point in evolution, the branch that would become the octopus made a different choice. It dropped the shell entirely. Think about what that means. Your ancestors hid inside their armor for hundreds of millions of years. It worked, a reliable, proven strategy. And then something changed. Instead of continuing to hide, your lineage decided that softness wasn't a weakness. It was an opportunity. The opportunity to become anything. That's exactly what the octopus did. No shell, no bones, no rigid structure of any kind. And from that starting point, it became one of the most successful predators in the ocean. There are roughly 300 known species, from the tiny blue-ringed octopus, no bigger than a tennis ball and lethally venomous, to the giant Pacific octopus, whose arms can span up to 9 meters, the length of 2 adult giraffes placed head-to-head. They live everywhere, tropical reefs, Arctic depths, open ocean, even, briefly, on land. One species, the mimic octopus, doesn't simply change color, it physically takes on the shape and movement of other animals. It swims like a flounder. It undulates like a sea snake. It fans its arms like a lionfish. It doesn't just hide. It transforms. But before we get to any of that, we need to understand the body, because the octopus body is a story that's difficult to pull yourself away from. 3 hearts. Let's start there. One central heart pumps blood throughout the body. 2 additional gill hearts pump blood specifically through the gills, where it picks up oxygen. 3 separate pumps, 3 independent rhythms. And when the octopus swims actively, the central heart stops completely. That's why octopuses prefer to crawl rather than swim. Active swimming is, for them, something close to running while holding your breath. Every swim is an effort. Crawling is how they conserve. The blood is blue. Not metaphorically, literally blue, because it uses hemocyanin, a copper-based protein, to carry oxygen instead of the iron-based hemoglobin that makes our blood red. Hemocyanin is less efficient in warm water but performs significantly better in cold, low-oxygen environments, which is exactly where much of the deep ocean lies. Once again, not a flaw. A solution. Now, the 9 brains, and this requires its own conversation. The octopus's central brain is a ring of neural tissue that wraps around its esophagus. Not beside the food pipe. Around it. This means the octopus cannot swallow anything too large. If it did, the food would physically damage its own brain on the way down. Evolution found an elegant workaround, a hard beak, the only rigid structure in the entire body, shaped like a parrot's beak and made of the same material, chitin. The beak tears and crushes prey into small enough pieces for the brain to survive the passage. But that central brain accounts for only about 1/3 of the octopus's total neurons. The remaining 2/3 live in the arms, roughly 200 to 300 suckers on each tentacle, each sucker capable of independent movement, each packed with chemoreceptors. The octopus doesn't just touch things with its arms. It tastes them. Every surface, every texture, every chemical trace, experienced simultaneously through hundreds of individual tasting points spread across 8 thinking limbs. Each arm has its own nerve center, its own local brain. The central brain sends what amounts to a general directive, find the crab, and each arm independently decides how to pursue it. It feels, it tastes, it navigates, and it acts without waiting for instruction from the head. This was tested directly. Severed octopus arms, separated from the central brain entirely, continued responding to stimuli for more than an hour after detachment. They reached for food. They recoiled from threats. They acted. What this means is that the octopus doesn't have a single unified mind. It has a distributed mind, 8 semi-autonomous agents coordinated loosely by a central hub. Scientists are still debating what this means for our understanding of consciousness. The question of whether there is a unified subjective experience inside an octopus, or 8 separate ones, or something else entirely that we have no framework for, remains genuinely open. What this body can do with itself is something else entirely. An octopus changes color faster than the eye can follow, not in seconds, but in milliseconds. 3 types of specialized cells in the skin work simultaneously. Chromatophores are elastic sacs of pigment that stretch and contract under direct muscle control, shifting color in an instant. Iridophores are cells that reflect light like microscopic mirrors, producing iridescent structural color that shifts with viewing angle. Papillae are tiny muscles that alter the physical texture of the skin itself, from perfectly smooth to rough, bumpy, spiky, branching, in real time. The octopus doesn't just change color. It changes color, pattern, texture, and the 3-dimensional shape of its own body surface simultaneously. It can become a rock. It can become coral. It can dissolve into a sand flat so completely that you could pass within a meter of it and register nothing at all. And now the detail that stopped me completely: octopuses are colorblind. Most species have only one type of photoreceptor in their eyes. They see the world in a single channel, essentially monochrome. So how do they match camouflage to their surroundings with such precision, in full color, while being unable to see color? Scientists couldn't answer this for a long time. Then they found something unexpected. The skin of an octopus contains light-sensitive proteins, the same class of proteins found in the eye. The working hypothesis is that the octopus may, in some sense, see with its skin, that the entire body surface responds to light, and that camouflage selection happens not through conscious visual assessment but through the skin's own direct response to the light environment around it. This is still a hypothesis. It hasn't been definitively proven. But it's the only explanation that currently fits the evidence. An octopus hunts with extraordinary patience. It can sit motionless at the entrance to a crevice in a reef, indistinguishable from the rock around it, 4 hours. A crab passes. The strike is instantaneous. The arms surround the prey from all directions. The suckers lock on. Then comes the beak, driven into the shell of the crab, injecting venom into the wound. The venom begins digesting the prey from the inside before the octopus even starts eating. All octopuses are venomous. Every single species. In most, the venom is calibrated for crabs and small prey, posing minimal risk to humans. The exception is the blue-ringed octopus. Its venom kills an adult human within minutes. There is no antidote. The bite itself is nearly painless. Many victims don't understand what has happened until symptoms are already progressing. But the octopus doesn't only hide and ambush. It thinks. And this is where the most interesting things we know about this animal begin. At the Seattle Aquarium, an octopus named Inky lived in an ordinary tank. One night, the lid was shifted slightly. Inky got out, crossed several meters of wet floor, found a drain pipe of roughly the right diameter, squeezed through it, and disappeared into the ocean through the building's plumbing. Staff reconstructed the entire route the next morning from the wet trail left on the floor. This is not an isolated story. Octopuses in captivity regularly escape from their tanks at night, enter neighboring tanks, eat the fish, and return to their own tank before morning. Staff only noticed when fish began vanishing without explanation. They installed cameras. The mystery resolved immediately. What this means: an octopus perceives a problem, formulates a multi-step solution, and executes it. That's not a reflex. It's not a conditioned response. That's exactly what we call problem solving in any other animal we respect for it. It was tested directly. Researchers placed a jar with a screw-on lid, and food inside, in front of octopuses. Most individuals opened the jar within minutes on the first attempt. Nobody had shown them how. They worked it out independently, through some combination of exploration, trial, and something that functions at minimum like spatial reasoning. Then researchers complicated it: a jar inside another jar. Then a jar where the lid unscrewed in the opposite direction from usual. Each time, the octopuses managed, slower, with more adjustment, but they managed. Octopuses recognize specific individual humans. Not humans in general. Not the person in the uniform. Specific faces. At the same Seattle aquarium, one octopus clearly disliked a particular employee. Every time that employee approached the tank, the octopus would release a directed jet of water, not at the other staff members who came by regularly, only at that one person, consistently, every time. A formal experiment made this concrete. 8 staff members dressed in identical uniforms took turns approaching the same tank over several weeks. One of them lightly prodded the octopus with a bristle brush at each visit, not painful, but unpleasant and unwanted. After several weeks, the octopus had learned to identify that specific person from among 8 identically dressed individuals, reacting to them alone with color change, defensive posture, and heightened alertness. No cerebral cortex. No neocortex. No brain structured anything like what we associate with this kind of learning. The same capacity for face memory that shocked researchers when they found it in crows had arrived here, in a creature whose entire evolutionary lineage diverged from ours before vertebrates existed. Octopuses also play. This has been documented formally. Researchers gave octopuses empty pill bottles, no scent, no food, completely inedible. The octopuses took the bottles, let them drift across the tank's water current, then caught them, let them drift again, caught them again. Over and over. With no practical purpose. Play for its own sake. That behavior, object play with no survival function, is one of the recognized markers of complex animal intelligence. It's something chimpanzees do, crows do, dolphins do, dogs do. Now we can add octopuses. And this brings us to what I think is the most genuinely unsettling question in the entire subject. If the octopus thinks, learns, plays, plans, and recognizes faces, what, exactly, is happening inside it? Is there something resembling experience? Something resembling sensation? No one can answer that yet. But the question no longer seems absurd. And one aspect of the octopus's existence makes it stranger still. The octopus lives completely alone. Always. No group, no pair, no community of any kind. It is born alone, hunts alone, and dies alone. An encounter with another octopus means one of two things, mating, or a threat. A third option almost never exists. We've been trained to associate intelligence with social life. Dolphins are intelligent because they navigate complex group hierarchies. Chimpanzees are intelligent because they need to track alliances, deceive rivals, and negotiate. Even crows, highly intelligent, solitary in some ways, maintain long memories for specific allies and enemies across a social landscape. We think intelligence arises because it helps an animal manage relationships with others. The octopus breaks that logic entirely. It arrived at a form of intelligence without social interaction. Without anyone to share information with. Without culture, without learning from elders, without passing anything on at all. Each octopus reinvents everything from zero. This means intelligence can arise not as a tool for navigating social life, but purely as a tool for surviving a complex, unpredictable physical environment, a shifting reef, an unknown predator, a jar with a lid, a pipe through which you might escape. The ocean doesn't care about your social skills. It requires flexibility. Those who think, survive. But there is a price for this solitude, a heavy one. Male octopuses live approximately 1 year. Females live somewhat longer, but not dramatically so. After mating, the male typically dies within weeks. The female lays between 50,000 and 200,000 eggs, depending on species, attaching them in strings to the ceiling of her den. For the entire incubation period, which can last months, she never leaves. She fans water over the eggs to keep them oxygenated. She cleans them. She guards them. She doesn't eat. She barely sleeps. And by the time the eggs hatch, she is dying, exhausted, starved, but having completed the only task that remained. The hatchlings, the size of a grain of rice, drift up into the open water. No mother. No elder. No one to tell them anything. Most will die within the first few days. Those who survive will begin, entirely from scratch, to reinvent everything their mother knew and never had time to pass on. I want to sit with that for a moment, because to me this was the single detail in the entire octopus subject that hit the hardest. Every generation from a blank slate. No continuity. No accumulated wisdom passed between individuals. No culture. The entire lineage of knowledge is reset with every birth cycle, and yet, again and again, they manage. A brain that lives for less than a year still has time to learn to hunt, hide, escape, open jars, and recognize human faces. What does that say about the nature of learning? About how much can be accomplished in one short window of time, without a single teacher, without anyone who came before you, without anywhere to look for answers except inward. This isn't just biology. It's something more. Let's talk about how the octopus actually perceives its world, because this, too, is unlike almost anything we know. The octopus eye is structured almost identically to the human eye: a lens, a retina, a pupil, the full optical apparatus of a sophisticated visual system. But the human eye and the octopus eye didn't inherit this design from a common ancestor. They evolved independently, in separate lineages, from different tissues. Evolution invented the same solution twice, in parallel, from scratch. Scientists call this convergent evolution: different creatures, different paths, the same result. It's like two architects on separate continents, with no contact between them, designing the same bridge. There is one structural difference, and it matters. In the human eye, the photoreceptors point away from incoming light, which creates the anatomical basis for our blind spot. In the octopus eye, the photoreceptors point toward the light. There is no blind spot. In a narrow technical sense, the octopus eye is designed more logically than ours. And yet the octopus is colorblind, a paradox that deepens the more you think about it. One type of photoreceptor, monochrome vision, and yet precise color-matched camouflage. But the octopus has another visual feature worth examining: its pupil. In many species, it's shaped like a horizontal W, or a figure W. One hypothesis is that this unusual geometry allows the octopus to detect polarized light that carries directional information invisible to our eyes. If this is correct, the octopus perceives visual information through a channel that simply doesn't exist in human perception. What that channel shows, in subjective terms, we cannot even begin to reconstruct. Add the skin that may sense light directly. Add the suckers that taste every surface simultaneously. Add the ability to feel the pressure of water and the most subtle shifts in current with the entire body surface. The sensory world of an octopus isn't what you see, it's what you feel with your whole body at once, through 8 independently thinking arms, through skin, through chemical detection spread over hundreds of tasting points. We don't have words for this. Human languages were built to describe human experience. The philosopher Thomas Nagel wrote in 1974 about whether we can ever know what it's like to be a bat, whether a creature that perceives the world through echolocation has an inner experience we could never access, no matter how much we measured the signals. The gap with an octopus is wider still. What is it like to think with 8 arms simultaneously? To taste the substrate you're crawling across? To see, possibly, with your skin? We don't know. We may never know. But the question is no longer a philosophical abstraction. It's a direct question about a living creature, alive right now, within a few kilometers of every major coastline on Earth. There's another dimension to the octopus that doesn't get enough attention: what it can physically do with a body that has no solid parts. An octopus has no rigid structure anywhere in its body except the beak. This means it can compress itself to fit through any opening its beak can pass through. If the beak fits, the animal fits. A giant Pacific octopus weighing 20 kilograms can squeeze through a hole the size of a coin. This was demonstrated in controlled experiments: a transparent enclosure with a small opening, a crab inside. The octopus studied the situation from outside for a few seconds, then began methodically feeding itself through the hole, one arm first, then another, then the head, then the rest of the body. No panic. No rush. As though this were simply the natural way of moving through spaces. Each sucker generates a gripping force of around 100 grams. That number sounds modest until you remember there are hundreds of them. Combined gripping force across a full set of arms runs into the tens of kilograms. A crab that enters this embrace is not leaving it. If a predator seizes one of the octopus's arms, the arm can be shed deliberately, autotomy, the same mechanism lizards use with their tails, but applicable to any of the 8 arms. The severed arm continues to move independently, potentially drawing the predator's attention while the octopus escapes. The arm regrows over the course of several weeks. When threatened, the jet propulsion system activates. The octopus draws water into its mantle cavity and expels it sharply through a siphon, a muscular tube on the side of the body, launching itself backward at speeds up to 40 km/h over short distances. Simultaneously, it releases ink, a dark, concentrated cloud that hangs in the water in a shape approximating the octopus's own silhouette. The predator strikes the false target. The real octopus is already gone. The ink isn't only visual camouflage. It contains tyrosinase, an enzyme that disrupts olfactory receptors. A shark caught in a cloud of octopus ink loses its sense of smell for several minutes. This isn't a smoke screen. It's a targeted chemical attack on the predator's primary sensory system. 500 million years of evolution. Every element functional. Nothing superfluous. Nothing accidental. All of it contained within a lifespan of 1 to 5 years, depending on species, with no ability to pass any of it forward. Scientists have asked this directly. Neurobiologist Clifford Pickover once wrote, "If octopuses lived as long as elephants, while retaining their cognitive capacities, we might not be the only intelligent beings on this planet. There would be another civilization beside ours, built on completely different principles." This is not science fiction. It's an extrapolation from what we already know about octopus cognition applied to a different time scale. Intelligence compounds through experience and the transfer of that experience between individuals. The octopus has neither mechanism. A year is not enough time to build anything beyond hunting skills and the ability to open jars. But the foundation is there. The computational substrate exists. What the octopus lacks isn't capacity, it's time. And here's where the story takes its most unexpected turn. In 2019, a team of researchers from the Marine Biological Laboratory discovered something that had no precedent in vertebrate biology: octopuses edit their own RNA. RNA is the intermediate molecule between DNA and the proteins that actually build and run the body. Most animals, including humans, have a fixed DNA template. RNA faithfully copies the template and proteins are built accordingly. In octopuses, this process is modified in real time. In the nervous system specifically, RNA editing allows the octopus to produce proteins that differ from what the DNA template specifies, and this editing rate responds directly to environmental conditions, such as water temperature. In cold water, the octopus edits its neural RNA more extensively, producing variants of ion channel proteins that keep the neurons functioning efficiently at lower temperatures. No vertebrate does this. Our DNA is fixed. The code we're born with is the code we run on. The octopus's nervous system partially rewrites its own operating instructions in response to its circumstances during its own lifetime. What this means in terms of consciousness, learning, and adaptation, scientists are still working out. But it adds another layer to the picture: the octopus doesn't just think differently. It's built differently at the molecular level, with a degree of plasticity in its own biological machinery that no other lineage on Earth has developed. 2 paths to complexity. Vertebrates took one route: spine, skull, brain, social life, culture, accumulated knowledge, language, cities. Octopuses took a completely different one: distributed mind, editable nervous system, boneless body, total solitude, chemical weapons, and the ability to dissolve into the environment. One path led to us. To science, music, this video. The other led to a creature that lives a single year, thinks with its hands, possibly sees with its skin, opens jars, recognizes faces, and then dies, leaving behind nothing but 1,000 rice grain hatchlings who will start from absolute zero. We've come back to where we started, and I want to say directly what I think this all amounts to: not a list of facts, but something more. At the beginning of this video, the description of an animal with 3 hearts, blue blood, and 9 brains sounded like something out of speculative fiction. Now you know it isn't fiction. It's just a different way of being alive. An octopus shares almost nothing with us. Its body is soft, boneless, shapeless, infinitely flexible. Its blood is blue and copper-based. Its mind is spread across 8 semi-independent arms, each of which processes information and makes decisions without direct oversight from the center. Its life is short, solitary, without a past it inherited or a future it will see. It meets no elders and leaves no students. And within all of that, it solves problems. It plans escapes across multiple rooms. It recognizes individual human faces. It plays with objects for no practical reason. It edits its own neural code in real time in response to temperature. It hunts with patience and kills with chemical precision. It sees with its body. We're used to thinking that mind requires a specific template, a brain in a skull, neurons organized in cortical layers, sociality as the engine of complexity, long life as the prerequisite for accumulating experience. The octopus refutes every single one of these assumptions simultaneously. It hasn't read our textbooks. It doesn't know that thinking with your hands is supposed to be impossible. That seeing with your skin doesn't make sense. That you can't be genuinely intelligent if you live for only a year and never meet your own children. It simply exists. And within the space of one short year, it accomplishes more than most of us stop to notice. There's something in this that I keep coming back to, not a biological fact but an image. A creature carrying within itself 500 million years of independent evolution. Thinking about its surroundings with 7 semi-independent minds simultaneously. Perceiving the world through channels we don't have names for. And at the same time, sitting quietly on the ocean floor near some reef, waiting for a crab. Proving nothing to anyone. Simply existing in parallel with us, on the same planet, in an ocean that covers 70% of the Earth's surface. The next time you find yourself near the sea, look at the water differently. Right now, beneath the surface, somewhere nearby, there is a creature with 3 hearts and 9 brains. It may be watching you with its skin. It may be thinking about you with all 8 arms at once.